Have you ever worked on yourself for months, or even years, only to reach a point where everything looks better on the outside, yet something inside feels strangely empty? You did what you were supposed to do. You broke bad habits, built discipline, learned new skills, maybe even reshaped your entire lifestyle. And still, one day you wake up and feel lost and unsure of who you are or what you're moving toward. If that experience feels familiar, it's not a personal failure. It's a psychological transition that almost no one prepares you for. Most self-improvement journeys begin with a clear direction. You're moving away from an unhealthy mindset, a painful chapter, a version of yourself you no longer want to be. That sense of movement gives you purpose. Over time, the process itself becomes part of your identity. You are the person who is working on themselves, the one who wakes up early, says no to distractions, and constantly pushes forward. The struggle gives structure to your life, and improvement becomes the story you tell yourself about who you are. The problem arises when that struggle fades. When the habits are built, the discipline is familiar, and the transformation is no longer the central challenge. You arrive at a place you spent years trying to reach, only to realize you never thought about what life would feel like once you got there. The old version of you is gone, but the new version doesn't yet feel solid. The identity that carried you forward no longer applies, and nothing has fully replaced it. This creates what can be described as an identity void. You have outgrown who you were, but you haven't yet integrated who you are becoming. Similar to shedding a skin, the old one no longer fits, but the new one hasn't hardened. There is a period of vulnerability where you feel exposed, uncertain, and disconnected from the sense of purpose that once guided you. The discomfort doesn't come from regression, it comes from transition. Psychologically, this makes sense. The human mind relies on narrative to create meaning. I'm unhappy, so I'm working to become better is a simple and powerful story. It explains your effort and justifies your sacrifices. But when that narrative reaches its conclusion, your mind is left without a clear replacement. You're faced with a much more open and unsettling question. Now what? Without a defined struggle, you're no longer driven by necessity. You're simply present with yourself, and that can feel disorienting. Many people respond to this discomfort in unhelpful ways. Some enter an endless cycle of self-optimization, constantly searching for new flaws to fix, so they never have to sit with stillness. Others unconsciously sabotage their progress, returning to familiar patterns just to regain a sense of direction. Struggle, even when painful, can feel safer than standing still without a map. The solution isn't to immediately find another mountain to climb, it's to learn how to live on the plateau. That requires a shift from constant becoming to grounded being. The first step is integration. For a long time, your focus was on what you were doing, what habits you were building, and what goals you were chasing. Now the focus needs to shift toward who you are. Not in terms of achievements, but in terms of values and qualities. Instead of defining yourself by future outcomes, begin describing yourself in the present. You're not someone trying to be healthier, someone who values taking care of their body. You're not someone chasing confidence, you're someone learning to act with self-respect. This grounds your identity in who you are now, not who you hope to become. The second step is relearning joy without productivity. Self-improvement often turns life into a series of projects. Rest becomes strategic. Hobbies become tools for growth. Even enjoyment needs justification. Over time, this erodes your ability to experience pleasure without evaluation. Reintroducing play, doing things with no intention of improving or gaining anything, helps restore balance. It reminds you that your existence doesn't need to be earned through effort. You are allowed to enjoy life as it is. The third step is reconnecting with others from this new place. During intense periods of growth, it's common to become inward-focused, but identity is not formed in isolation. Sharing your experience with others, especially the uncertainty and confusion, allows you to see yourself reflected back in ways you can't achieve alone. Other people don't see you as unfinished. They see you as present, real, and whole. That reflection helps your new sense of self settle into something stable. Feeling lost after long-term self-improvement isn't a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that something worked. You outgrew an old identity, and now you're in the space where a more authentic one can form. There is no final version of you waiting at the end of the journey. There is only the ongoing experience of living, choosing, and relating. This phase isn't a void to escape. It's a space to inhabit. Fill it with presence, connection, and curiosity. Get to know the person you've become without immediately trying to change them. Be patient as this version of you finds its footing. The work of becoming has quieted for now. What remains is the much deeper work of being.